Thank you, man. Ever young, ever young. I don't know whether you will begin to answer Chief Young Also, let us know that our own very important personality, a journalist, a writer, storyteller, and somebody who have even been in the electronic and print media, Chief Constance Meju, a board member of Cabinet. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm sorry that when I was in Radio Rivers in 1994, I didn't meet you. You have left. Yeah, that was the time that only one radio station was in Rivers State. Only one. And then it was very lovely if you introduce yourself that you're a staff of Radio Rivers. We used to have one slogan that time, and we just hold the microphone and say, "This is Radio Rivers 2 FM stereo on 99.128 megahertz, Port Harcourt. You're welcome to the news bulletin by Brighton Subway, the men's item." Thank you very much. I passed the other day, 2 women were quarreling on this national anthem. 2 women. I don't know why. I wanted to ask them, "Madam, what is the problem?" The other woman, "Hey, so you were busy in my church. You were busy in my church. Now my church is part of the Nigerian government." Which church now? Another woman asked, "What is the church you are talking about?" He said, "Don't you hear the national anthem?" They said, "Madam, which part?" He said, "In brotherhood we stand." And the woman they don't go. Our church don't include every time all of us go Lumba. We say, "God forbid, maybe that one they talk to." Let me say in brotherhood now, Lumba. The woman they happy, she said they don't mention their church for the national anthem. Anyway, okay, let's take the national anthem. 1, 2, go. It's very important that we should call on someone who actually knows the integrity of this program. The person have taken pain, they plan the program, they did some budgets, they send invitation letters to all of us that are here. Most of us have boarded the plane this morning, different planes. Some of them, I won't mention the plane because they didn't pay for advance. So it is very important that we hear from the very person who take cognizance that we are here. This person, educationally, she has grown from first schooling certificate to WAEC, to first degree, master's degree, PhD degrees, to PhD. In fact, very soon now, she will be professor of civil society organization. I'm talking about Chief Electoral. Please, can you come to the rostrum and give us that your wonderful welcome remark? You're not clapping, or she's here. Please clap.
Ajia Saudatu, the Executive Secretary of Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative. I appreciate her because if she did not give approval, this strong delegation wouldn't have been here. And I also appreciate her for bringing Quebec Castle into this project. I feel honored working with her on this project. I believe that one day we will host her in Town. Yeah, Honorable Love, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. Honorable Henry Ferrero, Professor Chris Akani is not here yet. Hopefully he will join us before we close. And the students, you're welcome. I still remember that debate. I also thank the teachers for coming with the students. I'm excited, and I'm also feeling somehow that we are closing out. But I also know that we are closing out the project. We are not closing out the relationship with RAPA. So today, we are here to conclude a process that started, I think, 2016, 2019, with the Gender and Accountability, 2018, thank you, with the Gender and Accountability Project. I said earlier, I feel privileged working with RAPA. RAPA is one of the foremost women's rights organizations in Nigeria. By the time Zena will be speaking, she will tell us more about RAPA. And throughout these years, we've worked with them. The capacity of Quebec Castle has been strengthened because those early meetings were not just project planning meetings. They were more or less capacity building meetings. So they guided us through planning the activities, identifying the activities, implementing the activities, and reporting on the achievements. Through those processes, I realized that at times we write reports and we don't really highlight what has been achieved. But through their guidance, Ajia and Wumi is far away in Canada, but she was attending all the meetings and reading through all the reports and making the corrections. So I really appreciate these years of partnering with RAPA, and also the partnership with RAPA got us to be indirectly one of the partners of MacArthur Foundation. So we gain a lot just by working, being part of the gender cohort of RAPA. It is something I do not take for granted. Thank you very much. So the partnership started with the Gender and Accountability Project. When we started, we focused on creating awareness on the Open Governance Partnership. At that initial stage, or throughout, we held not less than 12 town hall meetings on Open Governance Partnership across Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Rivers State. We held advocacy meetings with National Human Rights Commission, with ICPC. There's nobody here from ICPC. We did a lot of engagement with ICPC. It was this project, and Comrade Pius first took us to establish that relationship with ICPC. And it got to the extent that Ebekase was part of one of their projects, our constituency, our project. We were involved in monitoring government projects, implementation of government contracts in the state. And through the report, we submitted like between 6 and 10 reports on uncompleted projects in the state to ICPC. And I know something came out of it, because part of their responses, part of their responses, a contract that was abandoned in Abua was completed because communities reported. ICPC got involved, the contractor was summoned. Through the engagement, they went back to site, and that project was completed. It was also while we were working on this project that women demonstrated in front of NDDC during that period of corruption, a lot of issues, and then somebody was painting at National Assembly and a whole lot of stuff. So women started engaging with NDDC on that issue. And I remember following some of those actions. We were invited by some security people. Let me not mention the managers. We were invited by some security people to come and explain what the women want, and there were promises of you discuss this and discuss that, but we were careful about that engagement. Anyway, the project actually promoted women inclusion in decision-making processes and also campaigns on transparency and accountability. Community women actively participated in anti-corruption campaigns. Apart from advocacy meetings and the awareness question programs, we produced video skits. I remember in one of the instances, we used mascots to intensify the campaign against corruption. That was in one of the activities in Uyo. We had 2 mascots with messages on anti-corruption. And that was one of the innovative ways of enhancing the campaign. We also did something on COVID. We engendered the responses on COVID. We had a session where we promoted gender-sensitive responses to COVID. We observed that the palliatives that were given then was not gender responsive. Responses did not take cognizance of women's peculiar situations. Pregnant women, nursing mothers. I don't remember any palliative that included children. And we are closing one phase, we are not closing everything. And the next phase is going to enhance what we have been doing since 2018 on gender and accountability. We are going to enhance that, and we are going to get more grants. Thank you, and welcome.
Good morning. Good to be here in Rivers State. Congratulations. successful closeout. My name is Zainab Abdul Rashid. I work with the Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, WRAPA. We're based in Abuja. We're a women's rights organization, women-led. We focus on justice for women. Our mandate is ensuring that women are safe in every space they may find themselves. And so we pursue interventions that address women's issues, whether legally, politically, just to ensure that women have equal rights in society, just in a nutshell. So for the closeout event, I won't bore you with so much, but I would like to reiterate where we've been coming from over the years. Like Dr. M. rightly mentioned, the project is like an offshoot of an initial project tagged the Gender and Accountability Project, funded by the MacArthur Foundation. And that lasted for 2 years plus. Then the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability Project came on board. This project aimed, because it's closing out now, but then we hope it's sustained. The impact so far will be sustained by stakeholders you all seated here. The project began in 2021 with partners across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. And thankfully, we're here with you today. WOTC and the Nigerian Women Trust Fund are also partners implementing on this same Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability project. So the way the project worked was the WRAPA partners worked on implementing the national gender policy, with other women-led organizations like Kebekachi, IWCC in Kwara State, set up in Enugu, and Advocacy Nigeria in Zamfara State. We were focused on implementing the national gender policy as revised by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs in 2021 and approved by FEC in March 2022. So that was when the proper implementation began. WRAPA was implementing at the federal level, while our partners at the state level were implementing both at state and local levels. And that's why you all were part of the implementation process in Rivers, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom states. I'm sure you know a lot about this project implementation, being part of it, and that's why you're all here for the closeout event. And so our partners, NWTF, were focused on women's political participation. As you can see, the name of the project is Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability in Nigeria. And that's why we have to make it holistic, working with other partners to ensure that every aspect of ensuring the improvement in the electoral integrity is achieved from all areas as it applies to gender concerns. And so WOTC was focused on affirmative action. As we all know, we're not there yet in Nigeria. Being the giant of Africa, there needs to be more work put in place to ensure that women have equity, especially in leadership and governance, for us to get things right. And so WOTC was focused on affirmative action, which is also a core provision of the national gender policy. I'm sure we've had a look at the gender policy, and to ensure the understanding of this policy, WRAPA also went ahead to simplify the provisions to make sure that everyone looking into the booklet knows that this is how I come in. We want each person to see themselves. How can I ensure that I'm promoting a culture of inclusivity using the provisions of the gender policy? So when you look at the simplified copy, I'm sure everyone has a copy of it in their bags. Yeah, the simplified versions has a lot of pictorials to make sure we all, where we all understand where we fall in and how we can ensure that we're also promoting an inclusive culture amongst ourselves, from the family level to the society. That was the essence. And since we were also engaging with grassroots communities, we also saw a need for translation, and that's why we have the Igbo version. We worked across Nigeria, so we also have Hausa version. Ajami version, we have the Yoruba version. And so our partners from the respective areas make use of those other translated versions to ensure that everyone is carried along. And what does the MGP want to achieve? Gender equity, empowerment of marginalized population, and social inclusion. When you empower people that have been marginalized, they see themselves as part of the process, and that's why you see that it ensures social inclusion, and that's what the NGP is out to achieve. It's a tool, for ensuring that gender concerns are addressed. Women's political inclusion is achieved, affirmative action is achieved. We can see smaller countries like Rwanda getting there. Why not Nigeria? We are the giant of Africa. There's more we can do, and it starts with us. We need to see a need to ensure that half of our population, that our women, are also part of the process of governance before we can, hear the voices of the marginalized. But when you put out half of the population and then you're running with the remaining half, obviously the needs of those other half may not necessarily come to the front order. And that's why there's a need for us to continue to see that we ensure inclusivity in all of the processes of governance. So in a nutshell, I won't go into too much. That's what we're doing, and that's why we're here today. Our implementing partners on the National Gender Policy bit of the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability Project in Rivers State, Kebekache, are here today to close out the event. And if you look around the hall, we have some nice murals for you to understand further what we're after. So these are just depictions of what the gender policy is in a nutshell for anyone just walking by and wondering what are you doing here. Looking on the wall, you can easily understand what it is without even opening the booklet. So that's what I'll be speaking to us about. We hope we'll have a very fruitful deliberation, and happy to be here again. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. That's been a very wonderful remark. And then I'm happy you were very brief. Can we put our hands together one more time? Now we need to move to solidarity speeches. 2 minutes will be thereabouts. It's just part of what we're doing here. We are, solidly behind Kapikaja and the rapper, all what we are doing here, so that we have one voice.
Thank you. We are trying our best to ensure that the lofty ideas are actualized. But when something to me, when I went through the gender policy, I felt it was really elaborate, and then enforcement will be a major challenge. But be that as it may, if it is ingrained into the family, it is easier. Because from day one, the child grows up to know that these are the ideals, and we will try our best to ensure that the ideals are achieved. Thank you. God bless
you. Our host, the Executive Director of Kache, Permanent Secretary Women Affairs, Coordinator National Human Rights Commission, heads of gender desk in various ministries that are here, participants, delegates, traditional rulers, I say good morning. This is, I'm happy that we are here, and today to close up on the program that has been ongoing for some time on the sponsorship of RAPA. RAPA, please, I acknowledge your presence, and I want to say that we shall continue to support Kebekache in whichever way that we can. We, like the ED mentioned, the Executive Director, we have been at the forefront of also propagating gender equality and inclusion and we have deployed every available tool that is at our disposal. And I can't quantify, it is unquantifiable, the extent to which some of these activities have been achieved by Kebetkachi. Kebetkachi have been at the forefront of this process. My only worry today is that we are closing up on this particular program at the time when River State is beginning to look at another cycle of election.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the National Human Rights Commission, River State, we wish to applaud Chairman and founder of RAPA, Honorable Justice Fatia Abubakar, CON and her partners, Kebetkachi and MacArthur Foundation, for their relentless effort in awareness creation for the national gender policy at the national and the grassroots level. Obviously, we know that the problem we have is that most of these programs take place in the township, in the urban areas. And why this their own is spectacular is that we were able to go to the grassroots to enlighten them. And as Human Rights Commission here, we felt the impact. We felt the impact because so many complaints from women reduced. And Kebetkachi on her own is a blockhead woman. She really surprised me last year when we were doing our human rights day. Suddenly our program changed. And normally we invite NGOs to our office, but they now say we should go ask the NGOs. The NGOs we are working with, they should organize women that we should go and talk to. Honestly, within a short notice, this woman did something marvelous. That had women. And honestly, that thing brought so many women to the office that brought their complaints. Honestly, I'm so happy working with her. And I pray, as Dr. Young have asked RAPA to please close up and open again for them, especially here in the River State. Right now, I think we need them more than ever. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Abu. I work with the Nigerian Women Trust Fund. And the Nigerian Women Trust Fund, one of our main objectives is to open doors for women to have equal seats at the decision table. And going to leadership, advocacies, grant making, and mentoring also. So on behalf of the Nigerian Women Trust Fund, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to MacArthur Foundation for funding the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability project implemented through RAPA. In partnership with 100 Women Lobby Group, Women in Politics Forum, and Electoral, this initiative achieved significant progress in enhancing Nigeria's electoral process across Abuja, Ekiti, Osun, Sokoto, Abia, Adamawa, Bayelsa, Lagos, and through virtual engagement. Our notable accomplishment includes the live radio programs. We engage citizens on civil rights and electoral integrity through live broadcast in Ekiti and Osun. And we had advocacy visits, promoted gender responsiveness on civic rights and parties through visit to stakeholders in Ekiti and Osun State. And also training of election observers. We empowered women with requisite knowledge of observing elections process from a gender perspective in Ekiti and Osun State. And also in the gender and election watchrooms, we monitored and analyzed real-time election reports to enhance electoral integrity in Ekiti and Osun State. We also had a campaign promise trackers that train citizens to ensure accountability of campaign promises and promote transparency. Also, our partners also made significant contributions like the Women in Politics Forum, WIPF. They conducted education campaigns, press conferences, and dialogues to combat violence against women in politics in Sokoto and Abia states. And also one of our partners, 100 Women Lobby Group, also trained young female leaders, profiled rural women, conducted research, and engaged in advocacy activities to boost women's political participation in Adamawa, Bayelsa, and online also. And then the Electoral organization also gathered data, advocated for gender balance in political leadership and integrity, and integrating women's issues into anti-corruption discourse in Lagos and online. The project paved the way for increased women's participation and electoral integrity in Nigeria. We remain committed to continuing our advocacy for women's empowerment and equitable governance.
Yes, as it is said, I'm Regina Fabian, representing traditional women leaders from Akwa Ibom State. I wonder why I'm alone here, because I've seen Rivers State, there are many. I want to join my voice with my sisters and brothers that have come to felicitate with rapper, Makato Foundation, and Kebekase. Kebekase is a real mother, a mentor, an advocate. She's not tired of bringing out women from the rural communities. Not tired. And the women are very happy to follow her. The rural community women have really learned a lot from Kebekase. Like before her, training the women on women issues is not easy. The women they didn't realize their issues until they were brought out to be told, this is what we need, this is what we should be doing. And by now, we have all come out of our shells, acknowledging what rapper, Kebekase, and others are doing for the women. In fact, Comrade Payo said 2011 or 12, you joined Kebekase. Since Kebekase was born, the community women joined Kebekase.
I'm excited to be here this morning. I told them before now Kebekase, I've always been interested in always been inclusion of communities. Somebody said it, and I'll be the third person, the third yeses that will say, before I continue, I need you to start on the existing protocol. I was so excited I started talking. Sorry about it. Thank you, Rapper. Thank you, Executive Director. I want to say she has done so well. But I will also have my voice to say that you have done well through Kebekase, but you need to do more. Just as somebody has said, please, after this closeout section of this project, you have to open another one. I was somewhere just 3 weeks ago, she sent a representative, and they were still talking about this gender inclusion. Some communities were there, and I want to tell you, so much impact was made because many men, they were like, you said we could do this kind of thing. She sent somebody here, and the whole place, I was like, we still have people like this telling us more need to be done. You've done well. I must say she has done wonderfully well. That is why I come for their programs even when it's not so comfortable for me. They make a lot of impact in the communities. and they are helping women to know, you said, they're helping women to be safe in their spaces. Yes, I've seen it. In my programs, I've attended with them. Even though for us, when the environment, I want to say, when any problem is happening, it affects the environment. Am I correct?
Yes.
Because when the fighting is taking place, wherever the environment suffers, and indirectly we all suffer. So I want to say thank you to Kabekashi for all you have done. Rapper, give her more opportunity to do more. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of WATC, that's Women Advocate Research and Documentation Center, our founding director, Dr. Abiola Akiyode Afolabi, and also the cluster member that we worked with, that's JECON, Manifesto, Gender Technical Unit, GTU. We want to say a very big thank you to RAPA for the opportunity given to us to ensure that women are being carried along. And I also want to say a very big congratulations to Dr. Ebe on the closeout of this project, not just to her alone, but to all of us who worked tirelessly to see that women are being included in the national gender policy, in any policy that relates to women and girls. To say a very big thank you to all of you. For WATC, apart from the national gender policy, for WATC, we worked on affirmative action, which has to do with the inclusion of women. We all know that women are not being carried along, women are not being included. So during that period of the RAPA project, of the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability project, that was when the issue came up of the Constitution. During that period, the Constitution was under review. And we all know that women are not being carried along in the Nigerian Constitution. Are we aware of that? The answer is not strong enough. If you know the Nigerian Constitution, you will know that instead of she, there is always he. There is no she here. So what do we do during that process? We went back to RAPA and said, okay, can we try to re-strategize to see how women will be included in the Constitution? So that was the process, that was the period that women decided to occupy the National Assembly, which we call the women occupying us. So the Nigerian women decided to demonstrate in front of the National Assembly for inclusion. And what were the women demanding for? We're not asking for too much. We're only asking for 5 things, 5 issues. We are asking for citizenship. What do we mean by citizenship? When it's normal for men, the Constitution says, when a man marries from outside the country, the woman automatically becomes a Nigerian. But when a woman marries from outside the country, the man is not seen as citizen. We are not actually doing it for women. We are also doing it for men. So we want the men to understand that the aspect of citizenship is not for us, but it's for them. Then, indigenship. There is this tussle. When a woman is looking for position in a state, they will tell her, Madam, you are not from this state. Go back to where you are coming from. So a woman is left in the middle to either go back to the state she's coming from to contest, or to go back to her husband's place to contest. So because of that, they are being denied opportunity that are meant for them.
The first and the foremost we are going to take is from Chief Constance Meju. So she will understand, and we are going to understand that because of the other 3 lectures, we will begin to look at time again, and 30 minutes thereabout is actually programmed on this very protocol program that was on today. So we are going to create the indulgence of the chief. That's because you are a chief, we cannot collect the microphone from you, if not I will call off. But as somebody who also is a timekeeper, she will do well. But I will not call her to come if you did not applaud. Give her a very big applause. Give her a big applause.
Hello once again. It's a pleasure to be here. And I would say that for somebody who followed this project since it started. It's an honor to see it closing out one session so that we can continue with another session. And I want to stand with those who have said that this rapper partnership has been a blessing, not just to Kebekasi, but to the Niger Delta region, because Kebekasi covers Niger Delta. We are talking about building an inclusive culture from awareness to action. I'm happy we started with the Old Grand New National Anthem, which actually touches the way Nigeria is, structured. A nation of many tribes, many religions. A nation where people are being oppressed. A nation of plenty where people are hungry. So we need an anthem that will bring us back on the right path so that we will have a place where all voices are heard, where needs are addressed, so that the abundance that the Lord has kept in the land for us will be shared for people so that peace can reign. So on that note, I start. Nigeria is a country that is rich in human and natural resources. Her fossil fuel fields are described outside as elephant. You know what elephant means? Anybody can come and cut it, will still be there. That's why the massive corruption that is taking place in the country has not fully grounded the nation. Her crude is sweet, while other countries go for our oil. And our gas reserves are huge. Ordinarily, this should translate into tremendous wealth. But rather than abundance, Africa's most populous and blessed nation has been crowned the poverty headquarters of the world. Everywhere you turn, there is an air of dissatisfaction, disillusion with the people in authority as the cost of living goes up. You know, as we are here today, there are many families that have not eaten for 2 days. Am I right? Yes. Because things are difficult. You heard Payo saying that getting us to laugh might not be an easy thing. Ethnic-driven conflicts are rising as people feel alienated from the center and the spread of the supposed wealth of the nation. Climate change is also adding its own to the conflict, spreading poverty, while just a few citizens are living in luxury. All these point to an abundance in the country's governance, an imbalance in the country's governance system made possible by a long history of concentration of privileges and benefits on just a few segments of the Nigerian society. So this presentation seeks to understand the roots of this imbalance and to suggest how to reconstruct our society to admit all so that everybody can begin to join in the remaking of a Nigeria of our dream, where everyone matters and is encouraged to effectively participate and own. You know, there are some countries, sometimes Nigerians wear the clothes made from the American flag. They are not actually meant for us. They are meant for their people. And it is one in appreciation of what their government is doing for them. Our flag is green, white flag. At a point when there was a passion for this nation during the Jonathan administration, people spent money to buy green, white, green on Independence Day because we believe that we are coming back to a good place. What you offer your people drives patriotism. When you don't offer, then you have agitations. So we shall try to define a few terms to help us navigate this presentation. What is culture? What is equality, equity, inclusion? And why is there a need for a culture of inclusion? Culture has been described as a way of life that conveys the norms and values of a society, handed down from generation to generation. It is dynamic. Dynamic means that at some point it can change. It is resilient. It has positive, it has negative, it has neutral attributes. Culture influences people's expectations of what is appropriate or inappropriate. It is learned. It reflects the value of a society, frames the experiences of its members, and provides them with patterns of behavior, thinking, feeling, and interaction. In summary, culture affects every aspect of our daily life, how we think and feel, how we learn and teach, and what we consider to be beautiful or ugly. And it is bound by space and time. That is why what obtains here might not obtain in another community. And you know now, this is the internet age. We are analog. So culture changes. Now, equality and equity, they are the state of being equal in rights, treatment, quantity, or value to others in a specific group. Equality might be, a little elusive and harder to achieve in a quantifiable manner. But equity depicts actions, treatment of others, or general condition characterized by justice, fairness, and impartiality. When my sister from Rapper was talking, she said, Rapper's goal is justice, making sure that women are safe wherever they are. So anything that will bring that justice is what Rapper pursues, because with justice there will be fairness, and it has to be impartial for you to be fair. Now, equality means that all people enjoy the same status. Our constitution says that we are all equal, male and female. Am I right? But are we really equal? Beyond the constitution, or just on the paper, there's nothing to say that we are equal. We have just established that in our leadership, we are very, very imbalanced. What difference can 4 women make against 105 senators in the Senate? Their voice will be too small to make impact. The same thing with the House of Reps. The same thing with the state houses of assembly. The same thing with the local governments. I remember when we started this civilian journey, the first set of women who were in the state assemblies, anytime they got up, they called them better life. Their voices were easily drowned. And if you are not strong, your spirit will be down. You may decide not to be contributing. You just be there. And when you are just there, it means that you are no longer representing. So all people have equal conditions for realizing their full human rights and potential in order to contribute to national, political, economic, social and cultural development, and also enjoy from the benefits of such results. Gender. You know, people say every day gender, gender. We know that gender is for both man and woman. But the emphasis on gender here is to say that for so many years of patriarchy, telling women to be behind, in fact, to go inside, men want to talk, that serious issues are about to be discussed, has robbed women of opportunity, one, of learning to lead. Because you are not there in the discussion, you don't know how to negotiate. I have led some negotiations, and I see that sometimes the women that are there, they are just making up the number. Then I will say, what are you saying? You say, we are waiting for them. So men should be advocates for gender equality and women's leadership. They should be ready to take on some supportive role if their women become leaders. They can help manage the children and manage the home.
room must be created for you to come into public office and contribute, especially as it's obvious that we, the older generation, have consistently failed the people. A mixture of the diversity that nature created, working in harmony under an inclusive culture that respects all, will definitely move Nigeria out of the wood, especially if we jettison corruption and enthrone hard work, honesty, transparency, and accountability, which inclusivity promotes. I'd like to end this presentation by thanking RAPA for partnering with Kebekashi to bring this noble project, which has engaged our community members and leaders with tenets of democracy, and has amplified the visibility and voices of Niger Delta women. We thank the MacArthur Foundation for the funding that made this possible, and to Kebekashi, I say, keep shining the light. Please, let us go from here with the mindset that our governance system needs to change, that followers need to demand answers from their leaders, and that are certain to work with and for the interests of all segments of society, promotes peace and harmony, and also drives development faster. Leaders must learn and respect other people's contributions, exhibit honesty and transparency to earn trust and loyalty from those they are with. Thank you.
While she was on, we have the singular honor and privilege to recognize the keynote speaker, the father of activism in River State, the man who has trained some of us as a very young person and will become activist and is not tired, the man whose educational qualifications have reached a climax. I am not even qualified to introduce him, but by virtue of this profession, Professor, permit me to bring on the rostrum a veteran, a Niger Delta activist, a lecturer, a resource guru, a chief, and somebody who has transformed the Niger Delta struggle into a very great model, Professor Chris Atani of Ignatius Ajuro University. On the topic, the future of gender quality trends and predictions, a very powerful topic that no other person than him will be qualified to do this presentation. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I cannot time my master, but my master can time himself. Can we give him another applause, please, one more time?
Grand deserve all these accolades. I'm worthy of all of them. The future of gender equality. And I want to add prospects, challenges, and prospects. When we come to a forum like this, it's always important for us to know why lectures like this are organized and the historical background of those actions. What we are doing today is part of our historical contribution to what had happened more than 700 years ago. Today we are doing our own. Equality people have a proverb. Anytime you get up from sleep, that is your money. That Africans, Nigerians are organizing their own gender equality in the 21st century. This is our own money. Yes. Just as other people triumphed, we are going to triumph. We shall overcome. Gender and equality. There are two separate concepts that we should understand very well so that we can know where we are going. Gender refers to a man or a woman. But whenever you talk of gender here, you refer to a woman. Gender refers to a man or a woman. It is different from sex. Sex is a concept that is biologically determined because of the characteristic features of the man and the woman. The features of the man in sex is permanent, natural, and cannot be erased. It is different from gender. Gender is socially determined, historically determined, based on roles, attitudes, functions people ascribe to the man or to the woman. It is not natural. It is not permanent. It is historically determined to the extent that it arose at a certain point in the historical development of man. A good example, there are some societies in those days, when we go to farm, when our citizens are climbing, oh, don't climb, don't climb. Women are not expected to climb. But for us men, it is a fait accompli. The boys will play and climb trees in the farm. You also remember there's a book called Things Fall Apart. A lead character there is called Okonkwo. His son was called Moe. And I want to paraphrase what he said. My worry with Moe is that he is always carrying the character, the characteristics of the mother. He's always found in the kitchen. The kitchen is not meant for a man. That is gender ascription. You have started teaching a man, you have started teaching Moe that cooking is not for a man, it's for a woman. The man should be at the parlor, twist his legs, while the woman is cooking. And gradually it becomes a culture. When a culture is internalized, it becomes very difficult to raise. Because culture defines you. Culture is you. It is through your cultural environment that we can define who you are. If you are removed from your culture, you are like a fish out of water. That is why colonialism came to Africa and culturally destroyed us. What Chinua Achebe said, they have put a knife on the things that bind us together, and we have fallen apart. Culture includes our language, our education, our cuisine, our fashion, our interpersonal relationship. So you can see how gender and equality goes. Equality is a situation where two things of the same characteristics are evenly treated. In this situation, human beings, whether you're a man or you're a woman, they are evenly treated, underline evenly, without reservation. The same way you treat a man is the same way you treat the woman. Because according to the Stoic philosophy, man is an emanation from God. Or the Ekanka, the religion of light and sound, will say, man is a spark of God. And when I say man, I'm using in generic terms, man and woman. If we are a spark of God, according to the Stoic philosophy, as propounded by the founder, Zeo of Cito, in Athens, then that spark regulates our activities, which we call today the natural law. So the natural law regulates all of us, whether we are men or we are women. And natural law is not partial. It's not gender blind. It is sensitive to the rights of a man and a woman. Therefore, the Stoic philosophers will ask, why do we segregate? Why do we have racism? Why do we introduce inequality in our society? Since all of us came from the same source. argument has been going on for a long time. In the ancient time, the values, the speeches of women were very low. It was within the period of the slave mode of production where might is right. You were measured, you were honored because of the extent of violence you can introduce in the society to make others good to you. Specifically in the Athenian society, Socrates said women have a defaultive faculty to the extent that they cannot be entrusted with managerial ability. Down to the 17th century, the Enlightenment philosophers, the period we call the period of Enlightenment, who were questioning the reasonableness of a philosophy called the divine right of kings. Those of us in the social sciences, especially political science, we say it was because of the high development of capitalism. Capitalism had risen to a crescendo that the capitalists wanted a say in the political and economic administration of the society. But the kings believed on the divine rights. They were controlling taxes, they were controlling the parliament, and they were engaging in historical munificence. The wealth of the society was embedded in themselves. Like Louis XV of France would say, I am the state is me. So if you mention France, you have mentioned Louis XV. So a group of people we call the Enlightenment philosophers rose up and said no. They designed a theory to demonstrate that all human beings are equal. I mentioned only two. One of them was called John Locke. I wrote a book called The Two Treaties of Government. In that book, he said, we are born free. Man is born free and protected by natural law. And then the second point I want to mention is J.J. Rousseau. He said, man is born free and everywhere he's in chains. Remember, they are not saying woman, they are saying man in generic terms. This raised a kind of a high consciousness, made people to be conscious of their consciousness. Realize, as we are talking now, that the government is not doing enough for the people. And the result was two revolutions, three. One in the 17th century and two in the 18th century. The first one was what we call the Glorious Revolution in London in 1688. The second one was the American Declaration of Independence in 1776. Then the third one is the French Revolution in 1789 and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens. If you don't know the law will not fight for you. The law will also say, I don't know you. Just like what happened in the Bible. Some people were using Jesus' name to fake or Paul. Paul said, this man I know, you I don't know you. The Constitution will tell you, I don't know you. Apart from that, let me tell you, maybe this will be another conference you will organize. Most university ladies are ignorant of gender equality. They don't know. In fact, in my class, I teach gender and Nigerian politics. What they tell me, sir, leave that one. My salary is my salary. My husband's salary is our own salary. That slogan has entrenched an inequality in the family. Do you want the man to bring his own? He will pay school fees. He will pay house rent. He will bring money for the family. And you are talking of equality. One day he will rise up and challenge you. So if you think you have equality, you should also support in the family. The children, when they are paying school fees, how much it may not be necessary for you to pay the 100%. Support. Because you are building a family together. The children belong to two of you. In fact, children, it has been proven that they are so close to their mother that there's nothing, even at old age, there's nothing children do their mother doesn't know. But she will pretend, I don't know. She didn't tell me. So, if you want to practicalize the gender equality principle, start from the home, start from the school. The ladies in our universities, using my own as an example, they are not doing anything. Two. Fundamental human rights will be a course of study at the secondary and university level. For me, in order to bring fundamental human rights, I am teaching Pan-Africanism. And each time I want to teach it, I tell them, if you don't have a copy of the Constitution, don't come to my class. Anytime I enter class, you see people running away. Either they don't have the Constitution or they don't have their course outline. I hope that with what the little I have said, we should be able to keep alive the sacrifices of our founding mothers in the defense and protection of our rights. People like Ben Wollstonecraft, people like Olympio de Gaulle, who was hanged for advocating the rights of women, for saying that women should become leaders, women should vote. In Nigeria, we should also know some of the founding mothers of our fundamental human rights. Olufumi and Kuti, Margaret Ebo, and the First Lady, Franca, to become a senator in Nigeria, and many others. I hope you are aware that the Director General of World Trade Organization is a lady. Trump, there was nothing Trump did not do to stop her. But when God proposes, what happens? No matter what happens, it will go. And that reminds me of a statement by my friend, Steve Biko of South Africa, who was born in 1946 and died in 1977. He said, when the time of an idea is ripe, no Jupiter can stop it. The time for gender equality is ripe in Nigeria. Therefore, no Jupiter can stop it. Thank you very much.
Wow. Bringing on the topic, strategies of achieving gender equality through the national gender policy is going to be delivered by no other person than an academician, a woman who has done so much tremendously in the field of endeavors, a director in Women Affairs, Dr. Carmelita Oborubere. Round of applause for this wonderful woman. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The first thing we're going to talk about is gender equality. What is gender equality? We all know what gender equality is. Gender equality to some people is gender equity. But I don't think it's gender equity. They are two different things. Gender equality is gender equality. Gender equality means you want 50-50. To me, that's equal. That's gender equality. But gender equity means pick me from where I am. Treat me the way you see me. Give me what I deserve.
That's gender equity. But gender equality is really different. And in recent times, women seem to be asking for gender equality. The last paper I delivered somewhere, I said, yes, it's good for women to ask for gender equality. I'm also a woman. But are you ready to play by the rules? Because we're Africans and we want gender equality. Are we ready to play by the rules? And I guess that's why we have so many problems. We are traditional people, we are cultural people. And when you talk of gender equality, everybody, the man expects you to put something on the table. Are you ready to put that? You cannot be talking of gender equality when at the end of the day, like Prof said, they say bring school fees. You said it's not your responsibility. They say contribute to the house. You say it's not your responsibility. They say put food on the table. You say it's not your responsibility. When your husband is not around, you will not buy stuff to the house until he comes back. Yeah, some women do it. So how would you ask for gender equality? Except women start changing and start having a different mindset and start thinking differently. Gender equality is far-fetched. Because if we want gender equality, then we have to think like the men, we have to act like the men, we have to perform like the men, we have to do like the men. Because if you come to think of it, we all attend universities like the men. And sometimes we beat these men in school. Sometimes we come up with a first class, and the men come out at third class. Then what happens after that? The men with the third class will be making the money, and the women with the first class will be carrying plates and begging them for money. Don't you think there's a problem there? I think there's a problem. Maybe we have not set our priorities right. That's why we have this problem. Because I can't imagine why a first-class person, an intelligent woman, will be begging a man that had a third class and even found it difficult to have a job. So there must be something wrong. So having said that, gender equality awareness and integrity and accountability is relevant for achieving transparent, collaborative, and feasible goals of attaining socio-economic development and political participation at all levels that ensures that no one is left behind in the development process, that none is underrepresented in political decisions, and that none is relegated and silenced for any targeted policy engagement, intervention, and processes. It's important to mainstream gender because that's what we talk about. Every day we talk about mainstreaming gender. Yes, it's very important. Because if you don't mainstream gender, then women will not get actualized. Gender must be mainstreamed in every development effort. All gender concerns have their concerns and needs, which are very sensitive and very special to them and need great attention. Gender issues should be well articulated and understood, properly researched, effectively managed, and applied appropriately in different settings in order to eliminate bias and one-sided approach in tackling them.
One more time, thank you very much for that. 1 minute intervention. He's also an engineer, he's also a civil society person, he has dived into politics, he has done one or two things, and he has always been part of work advocacy. He has also gone to part of the country to talk about the bad environment in Iba and Obedi and other parts, sitting with very big men from Shell all over the world, make some intervention. Can we clap for him, please? Whether you like it or not? He will not talk much. I know he's not the master of ceremony.
Good afternoon. My name is Henry. Actually, I'm very delighted to be here, especially to hear from Prof. Prof had given me a lot of reason to appreciate campaigning for issues of gender and also gender equality. Prof, thank you so much. In fact, when I joined Kebekase in campaigning for gender and gender-related issues, I naturally knew that what she was doing is the right thing. But Prof had been able to give us a historical background that people even committed suicide just to make sure gender issues is being canvassed. And today, what some of us are enjoying is because people died for it. I'm very, very happy to hear about this. And so many other conventions has happened, and people stood by it. But I'll be very happy that all the women and men here will also see reasons to be like those who want to stake their life, to make sure they speak for those who will not speak for themselves. Especially, we are talking about how will women in Nigeria be free from these imbalances, especially to also have this equality we are talking about. Some persons will say women are the cause. We fight against fellow women. That's why we are not growing politically. To me, I don't think it's true. Women have never worked against any woman. In fact, what happens is poverty. Poverty is working against women becoming equal to the men. The campaigns in Nigeria are so expensive that so many women can't run. Political parties give women tickets, but they are not visible during campaigns. Again, sexual abuse. So many women run out of political contest because the men abuse them sexually. And they give them names. Sometimes the husband, because of the name, will say, please, I don't want your name. Please don't follow them again. So that has discouraged women from participating. But I will encourage all of us now, provided you are doing what is right, do not take what people are saying and continue to push. It will help to give women a platform to be equal to men. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Everybody are good students. Thank you very much. Attraction.
Section.
Because the man said we should abort. Thank you for aborting the program. Can we clap ourselves? Can we clap ourselves?
My name is Nesima Chirut. I'm a student in the library of school, and I'm here to say the experiences I've gotten from Quebec culture during our debate. During our debate, I now know my rights as a child, I know my rights as a woman, and I can stand high everywhere I go to proclaim my rights to other people, and other people cannot oppress me because now I understand my rights, and now I can put my rights open to the public. And what Quebec Kachi have done for my school, if you come to my school now, we have a gender policy club, and we are going to be working effectively to ensure that women in the society are bringing open and are public cited to the society. And what Quebec Kachi have done for me, have done for my school at large, we are now open to everyone. We can now know our rights. We can now know our rights.
Quebec Capital was one of them. She didn't only invite me to her office, she passed me through 1 year leadership training, and that was much for me. Free of charge. I didn't pay for even a pencil I used. Most of the diagrams they were teaching me on how to become a leader. And at the end of the day, I didn't step down, but something happened. And she didn't take it lightly, even, but I had to do what I did just for peace to reign. And ever since, she has not stopped making sure that I grow politically. I call her my mentor. We may be of the same age, or me older or she older, but I call her my mentor because she mentors me a lot on various ways of becoming a leader, being a leader. And that has led to me. I was in my bedroom, I told her the story, when I was called to come and take the position of being a vice chairman of my local government. Yes, because eyes can't see. When you become very needful in life, people will want you. They will want you. That was how I became. And I want to beat my chest to say that if I'm not the best, I'm one of the best vice chairmen that I ever been. I have not had time to come and see you. I have plans to come and see you because I don't really this. This is just a stepping stone. I'm coming out. And I keep saying, it doesn't what I say. If being a woman is a sin, I want to commit that sin over and over again.
Can we start off please? Can we start off please with due respect? Please, office today. So let me quickly introduce the Permanent Secretary Minister of Women Affairs of River State. And through her position in the ministry, she has been publicly advocating for women in the Our Chief Christopher Okuleke is a community chief from Bayelsa State, and he has been a voice for women in our community, and he or she, one of the best we can talk about. Through his active management as community leader, he has built strong grassroots network that promotes gender inclusivity. Very outspoken for community and women inclusion. Can we clap for him? From present this award of gold award to my organization through the board meeting met, and we said there is nothing we can give for all that she has done, calling us for meeting, calling us for program, and done a lot of things for us, that we will give her a shot. It was supposed to be yesterday, but the program was cheated. So, madam, this is the best I can do. Thank you.
To do this presentation on behalf of Pius Duko, President of Pius Duko Foundation. I present this prestigious gold award to Chief Dr. Emin. second in women development and other NGOs in the Niger Delta. And I make this presentation on this Tuesday, the 2nd of July, 2020.
My name is Zainab Abdul Rashid. I work with the Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, RAPA, based in Abuja.
Okay, it's good to meet you today. And so what's your impression of the organization and what have you been on to? Because this event, what is it for and why are you here?
Okay. The Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, RAPA, is a women's-led organization that has been in existence for about 25 years now. It's an organization that works with all stakeholders to ensure that women get justice at all levels. We carry out a lot of interventions around ensuring that women are involved in political participation, ensuring that women are not marginalized in society in every space they find themselves. And on one of our projects, funded by the MacArthur Foundation, which is why we're here today, the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability Project is an offshoot of an initial project named the Gender and Accountability Project, which began in 2018. That project sought to ensure that women understood their rights and were able to demand accountability for their rights from duty bearers at all levels. And so, with the end of that Gender and Accountability Project, a new phase of it targeting improving electoral integrity and accountability also came on board. And our partnership with Kebekache Women Development and Research Center in Rivers State is one of the partnerships we've fostered since the era of the Gender and Accountability. And today we're here for the closeout of the Improving Electoral Integrity and Accountability Project, which has lasted 3 years now. So we're closing out in such a way that we want to ensure that the awareness created on the project is translated into action by all the various stakeholders, starting from the family level. We have been implementing the National Gender Policy, which is a tool for national development that was revised in 2021 and approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2022, March. And this has heralded the implementation by relevant stakeholders, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs being at the forefront and RAPA implementing at the federal level, while partners like Kebekache were supporting, at the state and local levels. We have various partners across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, and we're here today to close out this event to ensure that we more like hand over the National Gender Policy, wholesomely to the stakeholders at the state level and grassroots level to ensure that they run with it. They consciously implement it in their everyday life. That is why we're here today, to close out on a progressive note of creating, of ensuring awareness is translated to action. Thank you. Yeah.
The boy child,
yes,
being asked to go learn a trade, or the girl child not going to school.
Yeah.
I think you were trying to say something about a balance in gender.
Yes.
For record purposes, could you just give us that?
Okay. So the whole essence of implementing the National Gender Policy, part of it is creating the necessary awareness and enlightenment, for citizens to understand their rights, to understand the concept of gender in itself, gender being like a social construct that involves, the social inclinations and, what the society has put around being a man, a woman, a boy, or a girl in layman's language. That's what gender is about.
My name is Dr. Ememokun, Executive Director, Kebekache Women Development and Resource Center.
We're here for the closeout event on the Improving Electoral Integrity and accountability project. So what has the experience been over the years since the project started? What has it been like documenting the entire project?
It has been a very fascinating process because campaigns on gender experiences resistance here and there. When you talk about gender, some people feel the campaigns is too much. Some people feel women have taken over the place. Some people feel, what exactly do women want? Some people resist changes. So it's exciting, it's fascinating. Even when people resist, their arguments at times also adds to our own knowledge. But from their arguments, you use the opportunity to tell them why there is need for changes, why there is need for inclusion in decision making. One part of the population cannot always take decision. So talking about inclusion is that women have to be on the table. Yes, men are knowledgeable, but there are peculiar things about women that if you as men sit down to discuss, you will not understand. So you need to understand those peculiar things about women for you to be able to mainstream those things into decision-making process. And then whatever plan or law or policy that is formulated will benefit everybody. But when that is not mainstream, you just make a law or policy or design a development program that is gender blind. And then you have everybody complaining. Government is not doing anything because they are not impacted by government program or by the law that is put in place. So, talking about gender and accountability is that duty bearers need to take the responsibility to ensure that if it is service delivery, it has to be done in such a way that men, women, physically challenged, other marginalized populations are benefits from the program, that their problems, their concerns, their interests are taken into consideration. If it's not done that way, it does not work. The key achievement is increased awareness. So even if somebody does not understand what gender policy is, or even if the person has not seen a copy of the national gender policy, somebody has heard national gender policy, and that will make the person to ask, what is it all about? So there is increased awareness on the national gender policy. It has been there for many years. It started in 2003 as national policy on women. Before it evolved in, I think, 2008 to national gender policy. So what we are doing now is amplifying the campaigns, escalating the campaigns, so that many more people know about the gender policy and how to get it implemented. So if you don't adapt it to your locality, you would think it is national gender policy, so it remains in Abuja.
My name is Mrs. Chinwo Koroji, the coordinator, National Human Rights Commission, Rivers State Office.
You're welcome. And please want to know what your impression is with the event you came, and what's your take, what's your impression with the work done so far? What's being done here?
Honestly, it is a great day. Like Dr. Okon, the cabinet catch, that's what we call her. We've been working with her for a long time. She has invited us on so many of their advocacies, which were able, even the rural people came and they asked us so many questions about our office, and we introduced our office to them. And we also directed them that instead of violence or dying in their not knowing where to go to or sucking with their pains, that they should come to our office because we don't charge any money, it is free. So knowing them has brought in so many relief to the rural people, because that's where we're having problem to reach the rural people. So we use her to be able to reach to the people there in the community, and we really appreciated our collaboration with her.
So far, you have been very impressed with her work, and you think what she has done is also in conjunction with what your organization also does.
Yes, it's part of it. I mean, they were able to go to the community, which I know we have not done for now.
So how far do you think the impact has gone so far for what has been done? There's a closeout today, and it's been on for some years. So how far do you think the impact has been on the local community?
You know, like all we've had today, our culture is a problem. But I know it's not going to be overnight. Gradually, we'll come over it. We'll come over it.
My name is Eze Chris Akane, PhD. I'm the head of Department Political Science, Ignatius Ajuro University of Education, Lumene.
Thank you, Prof. We're happy to have you, and we enjoyed your lecture. We heard your lecture, and you gave us very good insights on what. Just quickly tell us what your impressions are concerning gender equality, empowerment, which you actually gave the lecture about.
It's a demonstration of the fact that Nigerian women, university women, are beginning to be conscious of their consciousness. They are beginning to know that as human beings, they have a right. And those rights should be respected, either by men or women. The fact that they are women does not debar anything from their dignity. That is why the 1999 Constitution was amended. Section 33 says every person has a right to life. Section 34 says every person has a right to dignity. So you also see that there are many human rights instruments which have emphasized on the equality of men and women. So the fact that they are talking about their rights is not strange. It's in line with historical antecedents. Because in the 17th century, as I said, women in Europe and America fought for this, for their rights, and they got it. So why can't Nigerian women fight? They will get it. That is why we're here.
Thank you, Prof. So you think they are doing the right? They are on the right track. Nigerian women are just waking up and they are doing the right thing. They are on the right track towards achieving.
Yes, it's just to activate the human rights instruments. There are many. For instance, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Maputo Protocol, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and the CEDAW Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. These are human rights instruments that we need to know. Women and men need to know so that we can protect our rights and know that we are equal to every person.